That's exactly.
All right. Welcome, fam, to the FFFL Thanksgiving Midday Show and Report.
Woo! Deja vu.
Coming to you live from Schaumburger and from Miami. Are you in Miami, Zach?
I am not. I am in Indiana, unfortunately.
Feel so bad for you. You'll have to let us know how what was going on in Miami, because Miami and the New York Jets play tomorrow.
That's correct.
So
well, I was down there. I was down there for the Raiders game.
Okay. That's okay. So you'll give us some feedback. All right, we're going to go to you as our on the ground reporter for the Miami Jets game. Okay.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
Okay. Well, we want to give a recap. We just had a matchup between the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers. Go Pack Go!
Go Pack
This
Go.
is the real cheesehead champ right here. Is right there. That's a real cheesehead champ. The game did not. The game did not go as I expected. Did it? A little bit of a crazy one here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the current matchups and how they stand and get some feedback from our illustrious panel here. The first one we're going to go to is you on the ground, Mahomes Slice. So you played A.J. Dillon. How do you feel?
I mean, I'm pretty sure he finished with 12.4. That's not terrible. It's about what he was projected for, so I'll take it. I was really kind of hoping for a 20-piece, seeing as how I'm playing EJ.
That would have been nice. Can I ask why you made a rookie mistake of putting him in your flex instead of in your running back spot?
Well, because I didn't care. I mean, I'm going to have to play Najee Harris and Jerome Ford both anyway.
That's true. Yeah, but you never know what's going to happen. Maybe Najee stubs his toe at home tomorrow, and you can't play Najee.
Too much turkey.
Too much turkey.
If that well, yeah. I mean, I guess if that happens, I am screwed. Yeah, but I mean, it didn't leave me much of a choice. I mean,
that's true. But A.J. Dillon got you 12.5.
I'm happy with it. I'll take it.
Yeah. Hopefully others do a little bit better.
Yeah.
Also, he left Christian Watson on the bench. How do you feel about that?
He did. And Jared Goff. I appreciate him for that. Hopefully, I think I saw, what does he have? 3 players coming back from IR. So I'm hoping that they're just not even able to play.
Yeah, he's got Kyron Williams supposed to come back, but we'll see if he's limited. So that's actually very true. And then Cooper Kupp, we'll see if he plays. I don't know. Justin Jefferson, is he going to play?
Right.
No clue. I have no clue. And that's a Monday night game, if I'm not mistaken, against the Bears.
Yeah.
Jared Goff still.
Yeah. So that can be a tough one. So, but Christian Watson goes off on his bench, and Jared Goff had a better day.
He did.
23 points.
Still
with 2 fumbles, which is crazy. They still have 23.
Absolutely.
332 and 2 passing touchdowns.
Did it feel to you all like it was an actual good game from Goff to get into the 20s?
No, definitely
no.
332.
No, but I also didn't expect Dillon to score 12 points with, what did he run?
43 yards.
43 yards. I mean,
40. A lot of catches.
He had 3 fumbles.
Yeah.
Goff did?
Yeah.
Sorry, I think he only had 2. I didn't know he had
No, he had 3. Yeah, he had 3. See you guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
It was fun doing this.
I wasn't talking to you guys. Sorry.
Oh.
But you did mention A.J. Dillon doing a little, getting more points than you kind of thought. I don't know how many carries he got, because those obviously count in our league.
Right.
So maybe that helps out a little bit to get. If you got 10, that's 2 points right there.
Love you.
Love you guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
Love you too.
Bye.
Happy tea gives.
He had 14 attempts, 43 yards.
14 attempts for 43 yards for AJ.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, but look at his catches.
Yeah, 3 receptions for 38.
Okay. Yeah. But that's not normally his game.
No. Like I said, I kind of expected a 20-piece from him, especially with no Aaron Jones. But, and if you saw their points, 29 points, you would think he probably did a little more than 12.4, but
1 defensive touchdown.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Glenn, going to that game, Casey Amon-Ra, he actually had a good game football-wise, but in ours, it was only 14 points. How do you feel about that? He got 9 catches for 95 yards. I know. I'm jumping.
Yeah.
9 catches for 95 yards, but it only equates.
You know, I was eating turkey during half of this game, right?
But it only equates to 14 points. How do you feel with Amon-Ra being one of the top receivers in our game, going for 14, about mid-level?
I mean, again, it's always interesting to watch how the points spread out. Because if you look at Dylan, I don't consider that a good outing by him.
Right.
But yet
Right.
he
Right.
is walking around with 12 points, which last week was more than I got out of a Cooper Cup or, well, pretty much half my team. I think my score was 28 points. So, I mean, he did this with just basically hobbling around the game. So hearing other greats all of a sudden now.
9 catches for 95 yards, great game. But what, a point and a half better?
Correct. Exactly.
Really?
Right.
So it kind of maybe speaks to the running backs and why they're important in our league here.
Yep.
Allison.
Yeah.
All right. I got to watch some of this game, at least watch Jahmyr Gibbs play. He looks good out there. He's flying around, but I think he ended with like 11 points.
11 points, 54 yards.
Yeah. That was very odd. How are you feeling after that?
I mean, I feel better that he's in double digits, but I mean, I feel like Bob and I are projected to be really close, so I was hoping for a little bit more. I am happy though, because I was between like Romeo Dobbs. I was thinking about playing him, but I'm glad I didn't because he only got 5.
Only got 5 points.
Mhm.
So Romeo Dobbs had a rough outing there. Jaden Reed was on Bob's bench.
Yep.
He had a pretty good game.
13.
Had a few runs, but
he was back and forth about that decision as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of agree because they had some injuries in their receiving core, and so you're not quite sure what's going to happen with that. And he did
thinks
well.
he made the wrong decision playing Shaheed, but I told him I like playing the Shaheed over Reed just because with no Michael Thomas, they're playing Atlanta. I mean, I think that Shaheed will do okay.
Well, and I don't think anybody saw the Packers doing as well as they did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Packers have been all over the place this season.
Mm-hmm.
They came out the gate hot. Then they did whatever that is. They've been trading away key players and stuff like that. So it even seems like as a franchise, they're saying we're building for next year. Yeah. So every week you just don't know what. I think anybody who went into this game with a Packer and said, I am guaranteeing this many points here, didn't know what they were talking about. That is a crapshoot every single time that you're playing a Packer this season. I think the ceilings can be high, but I think the floors are devastating low.
Yeah. And Tyler picked up Jordan Love, which was, to me, a smart play against the Detroit Lions. And he's really probably one of the few guys that actually had a really good game. I mean, he scored like 33 points. Has me a little worried
3 touchdowns
on that end. But to that point, what you were saying, Glenn, Jordan Love has had a weird up and down year. It's kind of weird how he gets his points. Do you feel like Jordan Love will be there next year?
I sure hope so. I mean, I think he can be the real deal. And I think anybody, it's not the Packers style. We're not a team that runs around and keeps shopping for the best guy out there. We've been building players forever. That's the history of the Packers. There was points in time out there where we had the least amount of free agents of anybody. No one had ever played anywhere else. They were all bred and raised as a Packer. Yeah. And so this idea that we would get a guy who we think is something, get him for a year. We're not the Bears. We don't go through 27 quarterbacks while we have 2. It's just not the style of the Packers. I believe he'll be there next year. And I believe that they're building a young team around him.
Your coach ran into a sideline assistant today.
Yeah,
he's going to get that. He was running that thing. He pushed him, and then he looked back at him and was yelling.
He's going to get. He's going to get in trouble for that. They already said
he's going to get fined for that. You know, the quarterbacks, your organization is full of dirtbags.
And by the way, if I can play devil's advocate real fast, because I will say I do agree. I think Jordan Love will definitely be there next year. I think he's shown some promise, but. In the defense of what you just said, the Green Bay Packers have also had 2 quarterbacks back to back that were 20-year veterans, so they've never had to worry about shuffling quarterbacks.
But that's part of his point. Like,
They
this
can
is
build
Love's
build
fourth
for
year?
it.
I think it's year 4.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is you don't know that they're going to stick with Jordan Love. I mean, you don't know.
I feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I've watched both of those greats, Hall of Famers, quarterbacks. Not all of them had great games. Many of them could struggle. None of them could play on turf. Some of them were only good at home games. Some of them, I mean, how many interceptions did they have? You know, I mean, they were all during their time frame. They weren't all known and beloved for their 20 years.
Yeah,
you know, they exited the game or left the Packers beloved, but they weren't beloved the whole time, and that's the whole thing. Jordan Love, I think, is the real deal. I'm watching him play. I think if you start throwing away every year, then again, that's the recipe that the Bears have used, and I've not seen the Bears do anything since '85.
You know, one of your players pushed one of the athletic training staff for Detroit last year. You want to talk about character of the rest of your team? He was injured on the ground. He made it. He pushed it.
What we're finding out is there's a lot of people who just can't get the fuck out of the way.
Medical staff
cannot get the fuck out of the way. If more people would just learn how to get the fuck out of the way, we wouldn't have to shove so many people around. So it's just so true.
Medical staff being one of them.
I think they were set up.
Scumbag or not, I do agree that if you see the head coach of the Green Bay Packers running at you, you might want to step to the side and just get out of the way.
You're from Detroit, baby.
Okay.
Going on the grid.
I mean, I get it. I get it.
You can tell who is a Detroit, who lives near Detroit.
Right.
And repping him. But I would agree with you. I think Love has proven enough to play at least next year, and that means I think he gets a contract.
I'm from Indiana. I'm from Indiana. We jump in the stands and fight our fans, so that's true. What it is.
Like, yeah, that's true. That was in Detroit. That was in Detroit. The Palace. That was these Detroit fuckers that don't know how to get out of the fucking way.
Yeah.
R.I.P. the Palace. It's no longer there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But Love ended up getting him back to FFFL. Love ended up getting him 33 plus points, which that hurts. Good job, Tyler. I think he was projected like 19.
Real quick, you said you were nervous about him scoring 33, but yet you're still like a 70% projected winner. So
that's
real nervous. Yeah,
Monty got his 18. Monty did more than he would normally do.
Real nervous.
Yeah, so I like that Monty looked good again. That's why we keep these kinds of players going. Sam? Laporta.
Yeah.
Man, he got another touchdown.
15 points. I mean, that's what you kind of see, when you're looking at projections and box scores and stuff. It's like if you get a touchdown, you're set up for success. Mm-hmm. Like your guy, even if you're running backs is different. Like you can have a guy got pretty good yards. If you look at like Jaden Reed had pretty decent yards, good for a wide receiver, but like unless you get a touchdown, like if you get a touchdown, you're setting yourself up for success. So getting that out of the way early was nice because then it's just like I'm good with him getting like 10 for a tight end, especially this year. Tight ends aren't really getting used as much unless you're Kelsey or Andrews if he comes back. But if you get a touchdown early out of the way, I feel good about for whatever he gets the rest. Just sugar on top. So
Laporta's still looking good, still looking like a top tight end in the league. So that's always a nice pickup. One thing I will note, and I because I didn't see this Packers game coming and flowing like it did, Andy played the Detroit defense. And has unfortunately put himself already in a hole. They got him negative 1 point. So that's going to hurt Andy a little bit. He's playing Kyle. He basically, if you look at it this way, he is now down a player and down a point. That's kind of what's happened. So he's got to kind of claw back into that one. But we do got some upcoming matchups too. So we have the Cowboys play the Commanders in this game here in a few minutes. And then we have San Francisco that plays the Seahawks after that for the night game. So for the Cowboys against the Commanders have a terrible defensive backfield. So are we looking at this like, hey, Zach, you're playing EJ. EJ's got Dak. How are you feeling?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I think that it might be one of these really bad Dallas games. If you want to know the truth, I could be wrong. Washington is not great. but I think it just proves, they don't normally play very well on Thanksgiving. It's normally close games, and hopefully, I'm hoping for that. If you want to know the truth as well, I mean, I'm not saying that it can't be another 40-point game from the Cowboys. They look good. They look like they're coming on strong. CD Lamb looks like he's playing really well. Brandon Cooks is kind of coming on now. What's the tight end's name? Ferguson. He seems to be doing okay. So they're stepping up a little bit. So again, I'm hoping for a bad game, but we'll see.
Yeah, Commanders defense is not very good, so you might be hoping for a little bit more from the Pollard side. Anything that you all note from that matchup, either with Sam Howell and the Washington Redskins and their receiving core, or even Dallas and what they're going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's probably. I mean, it might be a little ugly to start. I think it'll be an over game. It's set at 48. So I'm thinking there's going to be some points scored. I just don't know how. Like it might be like a Dallas defensive score off of like a fumble or a turnover. Like I know the Dallas defense has been pretty solid this year. So depending on what Sam Howell you get, if you get the one that goes for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, it might be a little bit closer, but. There's always the opportunity for Dallas to sneak a defensive score and get some points on the board.
Yeah. What say you?
And we were hearing a couple weeks ago about how Dak Prescott was really just unpredictable and stuff like that, but he's been a relatively hot year coming into the second half of the season. The defense has been solid the whole time. I'm taking Dallas.
Yeah.
It's like going, I don't see this as an upset week, or whatever, because it's going to be a Dallas game, and the real question is going, can they keep up enough points to keep up with them? I think Dallas is walking away with this game. I don't see it as close. I see it as they're on a good run right now. Like he was saying, they've been building on up. With some of these other players are coming up on fire.
Yeah,
Lamb is looking good.
That's probably the scary part because they're all looking like they're firing on all cylinders. Even last week, they got up enough where Pollard was involved a lot more because they didn't need to do too much against Carolina. So the game after that is San Francisco versus Seattle. Allison, you had Kenneth Walker, who is obviously not going to play in that game. So what have you had to do to flex away from Kenneth Walker? While it would have been against a tough matchup in the 49ers, he's still one of your top running backs.
Yeah,
well, she made an amazing trade and has Deebo Samuel, so
who was on IR for a while, but he's back now.
Yeah.
So I got Deebo there, but for like running backs, I mean, I kept Swift in, even though it looks like he's questionable, and then Gibbs, who kind of underperformed a little bit, but
so you had to switch then from putting a running back in your flex spot to putting a wide receiver in your flex spot then at that point.
Correct, because the other running backs were just not really. I didn't trust what they could do at this point, so I was looking for kind of more of those boom players.
And for Andy, what that means is he has Zach Charbonnet. So Zach Charbonnet is the backup to Kenneth Walker.
I looked to try to grab him, and I saw that Andy had him. So.
Yeah, he's not one to easily. He was already off, so he kind of got that side of it. So with San Francisco versus Seattle, Geno Smith having an elbow issue. So Geno Smith, he's confirmed to play, so he's going to play tonight. He had a couple receivers that were a little bit banged up. Do any of you have any trepidation amongst the Seattle passing game with Geno having his elbow issue? Dr. Sam, what say you?
Well, I have Geno Smith, but I'm playing Justin Fields. I mean, it was kind of a catch-22 because I'm playing Louis, and Louis has DJ Moore and DK Metcalf. So it's like I have Justin Fields and Geno Smith, but it was just like I see the upside of Justin Fields running greater than I see Geno Smith running.
Who's Chicago play?
Minnesota on Monday. So I don't know. I mean, the defense for the 49ers has been good. Obviously, their strong safety is now out for the season, but I mean, it just depends. Like Geno Smith, I don't know if he'll be able to get the ball downfield as well with his elbow if it's painful, which means a lot more checkdowns, and they have a good offensive front, so they might be putting a lot of pressure on him. So I mean, I still think he'll have a good game. Like he's a gamer. He literally saw one interception from Drew Lock and is like, screw it, put him back in. Like, so I think he'll still perform, but I think it's going to be a lot of rushed and a lot of shorter passing game for him, and I just don't know if he'll rack up the yards that way.
Sure.
Because Tyler Lockett's like the deep ball guy, and it's like if he can't get him down there, you look at Derek Carr, you look at Josh Allen with shoulder stuff, but if it's your throwing arm involved, you're not hitting deep passes, and your numbers spike or decrease. So.
And Glenn, you have Ayuk, who's been a big part of your team. He's going to play in that game. Are you leaning on him again to say, hey? And I need another 25-point performance.
It's goofy again because, of course, I can never get everything to line up well.
Yeah.
So here I am going, Ayuk is playing well. This looks good. But who am I playing against?
Oh, do you have Purdy? Yeah, it's Purdy, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
And so it's a matter of going, so even if I have a good game there, that's just going to wash across those points. And so it's just a matter of going, yuck. And I just don't have the depth of anybody else to put in there to sit there and go, all right, well then let's not match that and come up with somebody else who would equal the same amount of points. So so somehow or another, what you can hope is that somebody else is a good, and you can't even wish for like a Purdy to be evaluated for something, because then who's going to throw the ball to Ayuk?
Yeah.
Stay upstairs.
So it's a matter of going. So.
Did you know that you're in the 0.2%
of
people that have Joe Flacco rostered? There are 0.2% of people in all of ESPN that have Joe Flacco rostered.
I wonder.
I'm looking at your bench because you were like, I got nobody to fit in there, and I get to the bottom, it just says Joe Flacco.
I just picked him up.
Explain your Joe Flacco move.
This has nothing to do with the 49ers Seahawks, but I'm just genuinely curious now.
Explain your Joe Flacco move.
Until I did the trade, I really had the best quarterback I had. By the time, once I lost my quarterback, then it was a matter of going, the best quarterback out there was Stanford.
Yeah, Stafford, yeah.
And anytime that's your best quarterback choice, when every week you're counting on the fact that you're counting on the fact that, this will be another 15 or 16 point week.
Yeah.
You're
from
not
a quarterback.
From a quarterback. Yeah. You're not going to be the guy who puts up 120. You're not going to be the guy who's putting up 130. I want to be the guy who has the 9th highest score and is still in first place. That's the world I want to function in, because that's the only.
I feel like that was a shot at somebody. I'm not real sure.
He's mad about I took the character of the Packers. The only franchise where the people own us. Like, you just want money. It's a slip of paper. You have one, don't you?
I do not.
You don't own stake in the Packers.
No, it's just a piece of paper.
Yeah. Exactly right.
I'd rather get this piece of paper that is the receipt I get when I buy a beer while I'm at the stadium. So it's a matter of, it has the same amount of value.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it's hurry. I'm like going, okay, then what are the next quarterback out there? So I had just picked up the backup for New England, and he was just riding a piece of pine.
Yeah.
And then Flacco came up and went, you know what? Flacco, he's been to the Super Bowl before. This is a guy who has at least gotten there before. If they're not going to keep the guy they've got started right now. So I think Flacco starts before the end of the season. And if he starts, this is not a new space for him.
That's true. So you're telling me I should drop Dorian Thompson-Robinson?
Drop him like a hot potato.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Trust me, I just wanted to pick him up and see what would happen. Okay. Yeah. Just want to try, he's got legs, he can run. That's important.
Well, and real quickly, I'll say about this 49ers game, I feel sorry for whoever has Seattle players. Because ever since the 49ers traded for Chase Young, I feel bad for whoever's playing against them, because they're just getting sacks like it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're averaging like 5 sacks a game
thanks
since
for
they
the
picked him
jinx
up.
because I just swapped out the 49ers D on my team, and now they're going to go for like Seattle's going to go for like 60, and then.
Well, you're welcome for having the 49ers defense all year because I accidentally dropped them in like week 2 and I didn't even mean to, and I never said a word about it.
Not my problem.
I never said a word about it. I actually, the only one that knows that is Bob. I told Bob, I was like, I accidentally dropped the 49ers defense and Sam picked them up immediately. I was like,
okay.
ah.
Yeah. I almost did.
That's what you said on your podcast. You were like, "Oh, watch the waiver wires because people with bye weeks, people are gonna have to drop." And then I listened to that and I was like, "Hey, why don't I pop on the waivers?" 49ers deep. I was like, "Ooh, that looks good."
No.
So I picked them up.
Sam Allison's brother.
Now, can you set your waiver to identify people who have been freshly dropped?
Are you interested in? But I don't know if it's a drop.
No.
I see it. Like I have a notification that like I see people who've dropped players.
So what I always suggest to people is that you go into recent activity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and then you can see
recent activity.
That's what I do.
Sense. Okay,
yeah.
Because I was wondering, I'm like, when people are like, "Oh, as soon as I saw him drop, I'm like, it said dropped." I'm like, that's an option.
Here's a crazy one. In my other big league, there was a big trade that happened, and another one of the people had to drop somebody. They dropped Deebo Samuel. No one noticed it, except for one team, and they picked Deebo up on the waiver when the waivers ran that next week. And I was like, Deebo Samuel, what the fuck is he doing in the waivers? Like that doesn't make any sense. And I go back to try to find out where it happened. I went to recent activity and it was in that trade because in the trade part it shows who each team got, and then it shows that the one team had to drop, and she dropped Deebo Samuel, and I'm like, what in the world? So yeah, I always go through recent activity. Speaking of Deebo. Mm-hmm. You got Deebo over here now from that trade. So, you and Allison made a trade, Zach, and she gets Deebo. Finally got to use him last week. So,
doing well for me now. He's back off of IR. So
you're feeling pretty good. You got A.J. Brown and Deebo Samuel as your wide receivers.
Yep.
Which got to feel pretty darn good.
I know,
yeah, that's a pretty good. That's a pretty good combination to have.
Yeah, not too bad as the number one team in the East Division.
Right. Yeah, that's how you become number one. I mean, you figure she's made 2 trades then for people who were solid players who are currently injured.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but she has that flexibility of being able to pick up somebody and wait it out because her team's been solid.
Yeah.
Hey, sir, you coached college football, didn't you? What's your take on the Cowboys Washington game?
I love games on natural turf.
Oh, turf. What does
natural turf?
Natural
grass.
Oh, grass.
Natural.
Natural.
Where are they playing?
I don't
Dallas?
know. Are they playing in?
I think they always play at
They playing in Washington. Yeah, they always usually play in Dallas on this day, don't they?
Tell you.
I don't know.
It looks like it should be at Dallas.
At Dallas.
At Dallas.
But last game we're going to talk through is tomorrow. First time ever. Black Friday game. You were just in Miami, young man, and watching the Miami Dolphins play. They're going to go up against a much tougher defense this week on Friday. How are they going to do?
I say they're going to score 20% less points than usual because it's Black Friday.
How long you been waiting for that?
Comment. Can we nominate?
As soon as he said it was going to be a Black Friday game, I go, "Oh, it is Black Friday." Okay, I was ready.
Can we nominate a comment of the week that's not on the text thread? Because that might be it.
You can. We'll throw that out there. All right, you got a nomination.
There we go.
I'm nominating Glenn on his 20% off discount.
Yeah. But the Jets are going to play Tim Boyle, and obviously they got a really stout defense.
Should be Joe Flacco.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that's going to be a pretty decent game if you want to know the truth. It's a division game. They always play well against each other. The Jets are still trying to win games. I mean, I don't know that Tim Boyle is going to be the answer, but they have a great run game with Breece Hall, and their defense, like you said, is stud. So they might be able to kind of slow Miami down a little bit. It's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a tough game. I think it'll be a close game. I really do.
It's in MetLife. It's gonna be cold.
It's gonna be cold.
Yep.
Playing the cold.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
well,
true
I
too.
don't think the cold affects them too much, though. If you look back at the games like last year in Buffalo when they played in the playoff game, it was 34-31, and that was with Skylar Thompson.
Yeah. Oh shoot, that's pretty true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's important. Tomorrow's an important game for Bob. Anytime I see Miami Dolphins play.
Yeah.
They're fraudulent. And finally, their only win against a above 500 team is the Raiders, or not the Raiders. They just
Well,
beat
the Raiders were 500.
Yeah, and they lost to the Bears, so that doesn't count.
What, the Raiders lost?
Yeah, the Raiders-
I
yeah.
get you. I get you.
The Raiders lost to there's no 500 team. The Raiders lost to the Bears, therefore you're not a 500 team.
I think the Jets are under 500. I think the Jets are like 4-7 or something like that. I don't know, but
4-6.
Anything you all see, because you're playing Bob this week.
Sure am.
So Bob is going to have Tua and Tyreek. That stack is always kind of questionable. But from what you have said, Zach, we're thinking that Tua and Tyreek, you think they're going to hit their projections?
I don't think so. I do not think that will happen this week against the Jets. I think this will be a run game.
Okay.
I think Tyreek will probably get his points, but he'll get them in different ways because if Sauce Gardner is guarding him and he's solid, but everything you've seen from Miami this year is that they've been doing things where Tyreek has been in motion like a million different times. So I can see them handing him off the ball or doing jet sweeps, I think Tyreek will hit his points. I don't know if Tua necessarily will, but if they get a huge lead or if they go up because the Jets can't really score. So, the opportunities for Miami players to get more points, but I mean I agree with Zach. It may be 21-3 at half, and they may just, start being all right, we're just gonna run this ball multiple times. So I don't know if Tua will hit it, but I think Tyreek will.
Well, hey, I'm going to cut this short for me. I'm jumping off here. I got to get going here.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Love everybody.
Thank you for hopping on, Zach.
Yeah, love everybody, and good luck this week. Everybody except EJ. All right. See you guys. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I think we had a lot. I think it's true on the New York Jets going to try to run the ball probably a little bit more.
Yeah, let's hope not.
You hope not?
Definitely.
Why do you say that?
I play against and I would just once would like to play against somebody who happens to have the equivalent of what Austin Eckler does for me every so often. Just once in a while it'd be nice to play against somebody and you go, hey, wow, he really underperformed from where we expected. So that is if it's okay, I just want to, because so far I had said that I don't think it's going to be much of a Washington game. When I was looking at some scores, I wasn't seeing much of a score there for Washington. So maybe I'm going to be. I just need to keep saying it out loud here, so that it becomes true later on. So I was putting it down on the record. Breece Hall, 3 points.
3 points.
3.6. I'll give him the 6.
And I think with Amon-Ra only getting to 14, even though he had a great game, he's only got 14 points. That's honestly a helpful start. And if Breece Hall can get only the 3, then you're in line. You are in line.
And I'm all up. It's got to do something, because honestly, it's like going. Last week, when all of a sudden we had the injuries early on in my matchup. When what was it? Burrow went out, and I'm looking at it, I go, holy crud! If I win, and Bastard, and who else needed to lose? But we were tied.
And Mahomes slice. Exactly.
I'm gonna lock right in.
Yeah.
I'm going to come in the fourth. I'm going to walk into these playoffs. How in the world is this possible? I'm great. I'm walking around. I'd already built a theme song, a whole back of a little bit of "Welcome Back, Mr. Cotter" type of thing. Just
welcome back.
And then
that was my fucking show.
It all went back. And so I'm just looking for the week when someone on the other side.
Feels the pain.
Feels it, especially if I can take out, because up until then, in the beginning, the only person who had a win against Louis was myself in week 1. I'm going, okay, I'm the giant killer. Yeah. And now all of a sudden, he's in first place. It's going.
Allison's in first place.
Damn.
I already blew that opportunity. So
But Louis doing well.
You kept the Giants, so Allison's now in first place.
There we go. There we go. Because I don't want to start shoving people out of my way, even though that's what we've been training for.
Might as well.
But those are the matchups that we have. Any parting words anyone would like to say before we say happy tea gives to everybody out there?
I brought the trophy home, and Allison said it's coming home, so she already has her name plaque inscribed on there.
Ready
So
for it.
be careful.
Yeah, it is beautiful. It's right there.
It is quite beautiful.
It's a
Forgot.
hefty trophy.
It is. I
Have you
forgot
picked
how
it
good
up
it
yet, Glenn?
Whoa, that's not yours. It's like the nameplate.
It's got some good weight to it,
It does.
everybody.
You can pick it
It's
up.
a it's a solid.
Now I'm not carrying your trophy.
Pick it up.
Yeah.
No. I do not want a mercy grab. I will touch this when I own it. So all I got to do is get in the playoffs, and I still have at least some mathematical chance.
And you get
Yes.
it Sunday, baby.
Correct.
Well, and out there, you don't know this, but in here in this building right now that we're in, we actually have someone who owns a. He this is what he does. He makes trophies, and so we'll have him appraise it and make sure that it is worth what was spent on it, and
real
it's
silver.
worth the next champion to have it.
It's black. You don't even know your color.
It's real silver.
Oh.
Silver black, no
Real
silver
black.
black.
That's just black.
Yeah.
That's real black.
Yeah, that is real black. But from our homes to yours, we wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. Good luck the rest of this week in the FFFL. I'll let you all kind of piece us out as I go and stop the recording.
Peace out.
Eat too much. It's delicious. You get to do it one day a year.
Bye.